Chasing knowledge is like making a personal investment in your own career growth. It's all about staying curious and never stopping the pursuit of learning, which ultimately paves the way for success in an ever changing professional landscape. My next guest decided that after graduation, being in a rotation program was the best way to learn on the job for career development. And he's here to share how that worked for him here on Early Career Unlocked. Welcome, Darius.
Hey Leah, how's it going?
Doing great. I am so happy that you're on the show today and you're here to talk about pursuit of knowledge, investing in yourself for career development. But before we
Yes,
talk
thank you
about
for
that
having me.
topic, tell us a little bit about you.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Darius Wright Tippins. I am a professional service product consultant here with Trellix. One of the things I do want to shout out before we keep going is shout out to FAMU, Florida A&M University. Rattlers, you're going to strike, strike, and you're going to strike again.
Just a little bit of a context. I used to work with Darius. I was in the campus recruiting side of the house, and I helped hire Darius for a rotation program at another company.
Right.
And I know he's going to reference that later on. So I'm so glad you're here. And
Oh, thank
again,
you.
you're going to talk about the pursuit of knowledge, investing in yourself for career development. How are you knowledgeable in this topic?
Oh, so thank you for asking. One of the things I would say is the non-traditional way. I actually have a different type of story from most college students. I learned more so about this is through colleagues, management, mentors. One thing I learned early on is that to come from peers is you may not know exactly what you want to do, like many college students, when it comes to finding a particular career or path or role after graduating. So something I've done is spoke to many of my peers that graduate before me, asked them how they were doing in the fields and roles they are in. And at the time, many of them were like, hey, I graduated with electrical engineering degrees similar to myself. And they were like, hey, I thought I would do power or hardware or something in the aspect of coding. And they hated it.
Right.
So I took a non-traditional route and went ahead and went into a rotation program that Leah mentioned before. And from there, I was able to move through various parts of the business. So from the aspect of technology, engineering, or sales engineering and so forth. And that actually made me learn various parts of the business, networking, and from there gives me the advice that I learned and I'm about to share with you today.
Well, I'm very excited. And just from my personal standpoint, I have seen that growth when you went through that rotation. And
Thank you,
I'm
Leah.
I'm really excited for you to share that with our audience today. What three pieces of advice do you have to offer when it comes to that pursuit of knowledge and investing in yourself and career development?
Okay, so the first thing I want to do is say one, building relationships with your colleagues, your peers, your management. One of the reasons why I will say that it's just like any other day on the campus. You want to build relationships with those that are in the roles or fields that you're interested in. And from there, you will ask questions and take notes on how they got there and pretty much figure out what skills they possess in order to get to where they are now. So one of the things I've done in the rotation, every single rotation I was in, I spoke to the managers, spoke to their colleagues, their team, their organization. I even went up the chain as far as their directors and senior directors. I went ahead and scheduled 15 minutes for a meeting and just tell them a little bit about myself, what skills I possess, but also didn't want to waste their time. Try to get as much information from them within that 15-minute time frame, but also let them figure out who you are, what they can learn from you, and go from there. So visibility, in a sense, will also equal availability in the workforce. And what I mean by that is when you first join, you're gonna probably not know anyone, but you're not gonna know who you are. A lot of people are not gonna know who you are. They're just gonna say, hey, okay, new hire, so forth. When you start working, you start getting those various projects, you'll then learn how to be visible in the sense of your manager's gonna know your work, who you are, your colleagues gonna know what you do, how to help them, that teamwork aspect. And you can they also rely and relay that information to their group and their organization. And then when you go up the chain to senior management, senior directors, you get to learn who they are based off of building those relationships. You'll then find out how to be visible, more visible in a sense of, hey, this is Darius. I can put a face to the name. I heard your name before. It came up in various conversations. And oh, this is the project that you've done. Oh, okay. What else have you done? Oh, you became a trailblazer and doing X, Y, and Z. And that's one of the things you should learn to do. And also when it comes to career development and investing in yourself, take the time to learn your peers, build those relationships so you can leverage them on later on as well. The second one I would definitely say is never stop learning. It's basically continuous learning. And in the sense of that is, I'm going to say the non traditional way. And that doesn't always mean to go back and get a degree. You don't have to always go back and get a master's or get your doctorate and so forth. One of the things you can do is simple as what we do on an everyday basis. When you want to figure out or learn something, you look into massive open online courses. Those are what is pronounced MOOC, and those things are affordable remote learning courses. These are LinkedIn Learning. This is Coursera.org, edX.org, Udemy.com, also YouTube Learning. Also, you can look into boot camps as well. Boot camps will help out. That's also a non-traditional thing to do now.
Absolutely.
You leverage the boot camps, gain mentors. You also teach you what's going on in today's marketplace, different avenues that you can use in order to better yourself. The third one I would definitely want to mention is a huge thing is be coachable. Soak up as much knowledge as you can about the business from peers, mentors, managers. And the reason by that is because one, you never know what you can do until you're placed in those particular scenarios. We always often hear when it comes to interviews or anything, what have you done or what can you do? And tell me about yourself. And we always get stuck. And one thing you can always mention is you're coachable. You may not know the information now, but based off getting from the information that you shared through the interview process and so forth, you can also learn as much from there. And typically, most managers, they look at those aspects as well, those qualities. What do you possess? They look at things about your strengths, tell about yourself and how you can relay that information. They also just like, hey, I want to know if you're coachable. If they had to come down to it, if it's between you and someone else, and if you have a skill that they possess, like, hey, you know what, this person can may not know the business, but I know if he or she was on my team, we can go there.
I heard that a lot from hiring managers,
Yeah,
especially when they're interviewing someone, especially when someone's interning under them and they're considering them for full-time positions. Is this person coachable? Is like the number one thing that's on their mind because they may have the book smart, the technical smarts, things that they learn in school,
right,
but a lot of these people who are mentoring you, teaching you, are taking the time to teach you and mentor you. And it's a lot of effort that they're putting on their end, and they want to know if it's being received. And if it is, then you're
right,
going to be shinier than the person who's not for them to want to
right.
take you under their wing and coach you. So I think
Yeah.
that's a great point.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Well, those are great three pieces of advice today, especially if you're considering yourself as a non traditional learner or student right now. Three things from Darius today that you need to know when you're pursuing knowledge to invest in yourself and in career development. One, building relationships with colleagues and upper management. Two, never stop learning. And three, be coachable. Thank you, Darius. This is great advice. And you know what I noticed? There's a common theme in here. It is also about building your personal brand as well. And
Oh,
these are also three great ways of building that personal
oh
brand. But
yeah.
that's a topic for another day. As we wrap things up, is there anything else you'd like to offer to our viewers today?
Absolutely. One of the things is a quote that I live by. It's really simple. One of the things is what you do today can improve all your tomorrows. And that's literally being 1% better or 2% better each day. Gaining new skills, gaining new certifications, continuous education. Those are the things that will make you more valuable, but also growth, marketable, and so forth. So you would definitely shine brighter than the next part, your counterparts or whoever that you're going up against, getting a job.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you, Darius, so much for being here today. And it's good seeing you again.
Oh, likewise, likewise. Thank you for having me.
All right. And then to our viewers, subscribe for more career advice from industry experts like Darius here on Early Career Unlocked.
And it's like, hey, I always like to be the guy in the background. Never like to be the person in the forefront. But my personality might say otherwise.